Look, Judge, we have case number 1014, Barrientos versus Villacana.
Thank you. Have a seat, please. Miss Barrientos, the defendant is your sister.
Yes, ma'am. My older sister.
I want you to explain something to me that I'm curious about, but it also relates to the case, otherwise I wouldn't go into it. There's a 5-year-old child.
Yes, ma'am.
You're raising that child.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's your sister's biological child.
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been raising that child?
Since birth.
You have legal guardianship?
Not full. It's just a power of attorney in the state of Texas. Each specific granted powers to take care of her, but not legal adoption.
Have you applied for legal adoption?
I've looked into it, but it's very costly, and I can't afford that right now.
Who pays for her support?
I do.
Can you tell me the reason why you took custody of your niece when she was born?
Because she's family. She was going to be put up for adoption. In my heart, family needs to stay together, no matter what it takes.
Who is the child's father?
Her ex-boyfriend.
Does he see the child regularly?
Mm-hmm.
Does he pay any support for the child?
No.
Does he work?
No, he's disabled, so I guess he gets Social Security. But he's a good dad to her.
Has he been legally declared the father of your daughter?
No.
Why not?
He wasn't at the hospital when she was born. He didn't sign her papers or anything, but he is her father.
Well, if he's disabled, what's the nature of his disability?
A pacemaker, so it limits his ability to work.
How old is he?
37.
Well, just something for you to explore so that this child can have a certain amount of finality as far as a parent is concerned. If one of her parents is getting Social Security disability, it is possible that the little girl would be entitled to Social Security until she reaches majority. It's something worthwhile to look into if you haven't.
Yes, her father explained that to me. We've
He
already
did?
worked through that.
Did you apply?
I believe he did. We didn't really speak up on the matter. He just asked me for some of her vital information, and I gave it to him, and he said he would work on it.
Okay. And that would mean that you would have to acknowledge that he was the child's father.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, now let's get to this case. Why don't you tell me what happened with the car?
So, March 20th, one of my other sisters texts me, and she tells me that Sandy's car was towed.
That's your
And I helped
house.
her and let her keep the car so she can go to her classes that week.
The arrangement that you want me to believe is that she paid $1,200 for the use of your car for a week. You want me to believe that?
I mean,
You want this face to believe that?
you can believe it.
Just a second. You may get over on some people, but that was not your arrangement. I'm going to give you a minute to take your breath because she could have taken drivers in a limousine to go to her classes for less than $1,200. Okay, so the arrangement wasn't that she could use your car for a week to go to class, and in return for that, she would give you $1,200. It just doesn't make sense.
The $1,200 wasn't all paid off. She gave me $200 cash also that day.
So she paid the car,
She paid the car, the place, and gave me $200 cash.
2 or 3.
2.
So she kept $100 for herself.
Yes, she told me to hold it for her.
Whatever. So far that's $1,400. And what happened with the car?
I held on to it.
For how long?
I think it was about 3 or 4 days.
And then what happened?
Can I tell you what our arrangement was?
Yes.
Our arrangement was that she was going to take care of Lillian while I was taking midterms. So I seen it as we were benefiting each other. I'd get the car out for her while she watched Lillian for me so I could study.
So the agreement was that in exchange for getting her car out, she was going to take care of her own daughter for a week while you studied for midterms.
Yes, ma'am.
That was the agreement.
Yes, ma'am.
That's reasonable. Well, it's not reasonable. It's sort of ridiculous. But that I can understand. So you agreed to take your daughter while she was studying for midterms. How many days did you have your daughter for the week?
2.
How many days? So you kept her for 2.
2 days.
And then what did you do with her?
The 3rd day, it was nighttime, time to go to bed, and she kept on crying. She kept on crying her dad's name. And I tried for like an hour and a half to get her to go to sleep. She didn't want to go to sleep. She just wanted her dad, her dad, her dad. So I called her dad. And I told him, look, you know, I know how to take care of my daughter, but she will not stop crying for you. I don't know what to do. So he told me to go ahead and take her to him. So I took her to her father.
Well, if you're going to be a liar, you have to be a consistent liar.
I know how to lie, believe me. I'm not.
Oh, I absolutely know that, madam.
But I'm not lying right now.
I absolutely know that. A week later, Liliana asked if I could watch Lillian, my biological daughter. Liliana has legal guardianship, but she needed a babysitter during midterms week. So far, we're together. I agreed, but when Lillian came to my house, she refused to obey my rules. I called Liliana to pick her up, and she didn't respond. I had no choice but to take Lillian to her dad's house. I dropped her off there with the clothes that Liliana had brought with her. Well, that's a whole different story. Then, crying, couldn't go to sleep, I want my dad, my dad, my dad. I called her dad, and he said, bring her over. That's a whole different story. This says she wouldn't obey, the 5-year-old, your 5-year-old, wouldn't obey your rules.
By going to sleep when I told her to go to sleep. I don't see what's so funny about that.
Oh, my God. Okay, so you took her to her father, and you said, I want my money back. You broke our agreement. And she came and took her car. That's what happened.
Correct.
And you want your money back.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, well, you breached the agreement. The agreement was she could use the car for a week, you would take care of your daughter for a week, and she would take care of the car. That was your agreement. What?
She never returned the clothes to him.
And she
Not
never,
clothes. Not clothes.
she
I
never
don't care about.
intended to
I don't
return
care
my
about.
car either.
Right now, I don't care about the clothes. Right now, this is a simple contract case, which is very easy for me. You know, despite the blurry lines of truth, it's actually quite simple. You had a contract, according to actually both of you, that you would get her car out of tow and give her a couple $100 besides, because she was being evicted from her apartment, I gather. And in exchange for that, she would let you use the car, and she was going to take care of her own child for a week. And instead, she brought the child to the biological father's house, who has not been declared the child's biological father, and you got angry with her, and you said, now I want the car back, or I want the money. That's where we're at. Okay, and so far, based upon what you told me, you gave her $1,400. $1,200 is what the tow was. Do you have proof of that?
I have that.
I'd like to see it.
This is for my plates also. She paid that same day.
Okay, so far the tow and the getting it out of impound was $483. Is that what you paid them?
Yes, at the towing facility. That doesn't include what we paid at the dealership to pay for the plates.
The receipt is up there. The $300 is for the plates.
That's $783.
Yes.
Well,
Plus
why
the
would you give
200
her? Shh.
I'm sorry.
Why would you give her $1,200?
I took out extra cash because it was going to go to Lillian's father. I was going to give him money because the Biden tax checks, child credit, I was getting those into my account, and I was taking cash out as well to give to him.
Why?
Because he deserves half as well.
Why?
Because he takes care of her just as much as I do.
Oh, he does.
Yes.
Well, all it cost you to get the car out was $783.
And I gave her cash on top of that, whatever profit was left over.
You just told me you gave her $200 in cash.
It wasn't $200.
No.
It was
She said
$200.
$200.
It was
she would-
$200.
She would say that because it was just cash. It was a cash transaction, including another $50 cash app transaction that she needed that same day.
How much cash did she give you?
$200 cash in my hand.
And she paid to get the car out.
Yes.
And she paid for the plates.
Yes.
All of that comes together, $983, judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. Court adjourned.